Most people live their life in a forward direction, reacting as it comes. But what if you could flip it? What if instead of chasing random success, you started with the final scene, the legacy, the impact, how it was you were of consequence, and then simply worked your way back? What if we could just break down how to reverse engineer our future so that our daily actions match the life that we would truly want to build? Because if you're anything like me and you're interested in designing your life with clarity and intentional steps that could actually get you there, then I'm sure that this discussion today will lend us both a few applicable takeaways to be sure that we are doing just that. If you don't know, my name is Chad Joshua, and I'm working my way towards writing a 100-song catalog. I write songs about populism, freedom, and liberty, and this is my artist channel. I use it to promote those songs, and in my free time, I like to have these chats to discuss the strategies that we could implement towards chasing our objectives in order to see to it that we're putting our best foot forward in the effort. So if nothing more than for a thought exercise, suppose that we did just for a moment consider our lives like a movie script. Before we could do anything with the script, we would have to be certain that we knew what happens in the end. The best directors start with a final shot in mind. What if we made our future with that same sort of intention? If you had the capacity to time travel into the future, meet yourself there 10 years later, what advice do you think that they would give you? Most people, they chase success without actually defining what that looks like. Without any clear destination, all of the daily decisions lack any direction. So I suppose that we could start all of this by considering what it is that means the most when we reach the finish line. What would be the one thing you would want people to say about you when you were gone? And how does that match with who you are today? Seems like I'm always saying this, but success, it isn't about random achievements, but it is about alignment. And when we're able to define what our legacy might be, then perhaps it is reasonable that we could reverse engineer the steps to get there. A map without a destination is useless, because even with the map, every turn is a guess. But when you do know where it is that you're going, you can navigate precisely. But in order to actually reverse engineer your future, it's going to require that we have a strategy. If we determined that success was measured in meaning, not money, how would you redefine your goals? To get started, you need to be able to identify clear milestones that we would likely cross on our path. Then take considerations of how it is we could work our way back from them. What would have been the natural progression to have led to each? Once we've identified, would have actually gone into reaching each of the milestones, then we can begin to break it into actionable steps. Because as I have mentioned before, the difference between a dream and a plan is a structure. So define the major milestones in your vision. Consider what habits and systems that you need to build that will move you toward those milestones. If we considered a house, you can see the picture in your mind. Before we put on the roof, we need to build the walls. Before we build the walls, we need to lay the foundation. And before we lay the foundation, we'll have needed to draw up the blueprints. And before we drew up the blueprints, we'll have needed to realize all of these steps that go into building the house to get us back and focused onto the very first one so that we could begin. And that's where you and I are right now. We're standing here in lockstep, recognizing the fact that in order to accomplish what it is that we're trying to do, we will both need to draw up a blueprint that will take into account everything that we will need to put together the thing that it is that we are putting together, house or otherwise. Why isn't this applicable? It certainly is. Suppose that you efforted yourself in this way. Suppose that it didn't quite exactly get you exactly where it is that you wanted to be. Wouldn't it have at least gotten you off of the sofa into the doing of anything? And should it be that you stay committed to it, drive into the effort? Don't you suppose that wherever it is that you get to from doing anything would be more substantial and extraordinary than not having done anything at all? As a songwriter, for me, it's extremely important that I have an audience to share my music with. How do I go about that? I need to make a ton of friends, like straight away. And I can't just walk out into the middle of my city and hold up a sign saying I'm looking for friends. Not whenever the social media is. So here I am, out here being a good Samaritan, sharing all kinds of helpful insights and clues, tips, tricks to be helpful. It's the plan. My plan. I don't know that it will exactly precisely take me to where that I want to go. It's certainly going to take me a lot closer to it than if I didn't do anything. So maybe I'll run it as far as I can, measure and assess, and then retarget my energies, all while still moving in a forward and productive direction. So you get it, right? Think of yourself as a character in the movie, and every action is shaping the final scene. Shift yourself from passive living to active creation. Every great novel is built one page at a time. So what if the decisions that you need to make right now are some of the best chapters in the book? If you start doing things based on the impact that they could have decades from now, instead of just how they feel in the moment, what could happen? Every moment is a chance to build the life you want. To stop waiting for someday. The future that you dream of starts with choices that you make right now. And none of us are just living. We're creating a life work. It's your story. And you have a great say in how it all turns out. To make it something that you can be proud of, you can live with. And while you're at it, you keep your head up. And I'm going to keep my head up. If you haven't had a chance to listen to my new song, you can hear it there. And we will talk again soon.